This video is going to go through the Buyers and Investor and Email Blast app. Now, your Buyers and Investors Contact app is essentially you keeping all of your buyers and investors within this app. So anybody that you're going to be selling wholesale deals to or potentially selling retail properties to. The Email Blast app is integrated into Buyers and Investors. So if you have any deals that you want to blast out to any buyers, you can do so, whether that's wholesale deals or retail properties that you want to send out to retail buyers. All right, both apps are pretty self-explanatory, but let me go through some of the fields with you to show you some functionality. Now you have a couple of sections in your Buyers and Investors app. You have your contact info section. This is the first section that you see. The first field that I want to talk about is buyer type. Buyer type fields can be updated and adjusted. So if you want to change around or add any options here, you can do so. I recommend that you check out the modify template video that we have to show you exactly how to do that. The next field is your mobile field. So keep in mind this should be a mobile phone number for the buyer or investor, because you can use the functionality of SMS over in your activity field by typing in SMS : and typing information and hitting enter, and that will send a text message to your buyer or investor. Let's scroll down here. You have email, website address, service area. Service area by default shows area 1, area 2, and area 3. These should be updated to your geographic area where you're working. So again, use the modify template video and go through that on how to make changes. Investment notes, so any notes that you have related to this buyer and investor. And you can have a person in charge of the lead. So if you have a buyer specialist or a disposition specialist in your company, you can attach them and make them in charge of these leads. The next section is deals. So any deals that this investor has under contract or has purchased will be logged in this section. So not only will it show the number of deals that you sold to this buyer, it'll show the number of deals that they currently have under contract, and then it will show the individual deals that they've purchased or have under contract, so you can always access them. So it's a really easy way to see how many deals that you've sold to this buyer. The next section is the email blast. So this is an important section that you want to make sure that you keep special attention to when you create email blast. So this will show you all the different emails that are attached or that you've sent to the buyer. Okay, it'll have a logging different emails so you can see all the emails that were sent. This email blast type should be updated. You can see right now by default it shows buyer type 1, area 1. And I'll explain that in a minute. Appointments, you can refer to the appointments video that we have created to show you how to create an appointment. And then let's scroll down to the communication log. So this is any communication that you've had with the buyer and investor within the system, whether that's text messaging or emails. And then you can see your related items down here. So let's just scroll back to email blast. So this section should be updated. And again, this is the defaulted buttons that we have here, but I'll show you how to edit them and why you should edit them in the format that we have. Email blasts, you should create categories so you have no more than 500 contacts within a category. And the reason why we do that is because Podio has limitations on how many emails that it can send out at one time. So we recommend that you keep those categories so they don't have more than 500 people on them. So a good example, instead of having buyer type 1, area 1, I might say developer, Boston area, or developer north of Boston, or rehabber south of Boston, so on and so forth. Make sure that any changes that you make here are also going to be made to the email blast app, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. However, you'll notice that there's a button down here that says subscribed. When anytime a new buyer and investor is created, it's automatically going to subscribe them to any email blast that you're going to send out. And when they receive these email blasts, there's going to be an unsubscribe button that they can always click, and then it will unsubscribe them from any future email blasts that you send out automatically. So let's go through the email blast app. So you can see the system has 3 pre-populated templates for you: email 1, email 2, and email 3. And the reason why we have these is because I personally use this in my business. This is the format that I generally send out for my wholesale deals, and it makes the process extremely easy for me and my company. So let's click on one of these. So you can see you provide an email name. This is an internal name and will not be sent out to any of your contacts. You have the subject line of the email. You have the body of the email, and you can always change these around. So instead of saying wholesale deal dash city address or address city, you would just update the address and city. And anything in red down below, you can always obviously change and customize that to your particular deal. Once you've created the subject line and the body, this is really where I want to show you to make sure that you update. So you'll also notice that you have an email blast type here. This is the same field that I showed you a moment ago on the buyer and investor app. You want to make sure that it matches identically to your buyer and investor app field. So if you update over on the buyer and investor, developer, Boston area, it should exactly match your edits that you make over here. So when you click on here, the system is going to identify anybody that meets this criteria on the buyer and investor app. That's who you want to send the email to. Okay, so once you've created the subject line and body, you want to just make sure that you save, if you need to, you save the item. And then once the item is saved, you're going to go in and you're going to click one of these buttons that you've created, and then you're going to click on send email. And once you do that, it will show you all the buyers that it's sending the email to, and it will log all the information in the emails that are being sent out on the right hand side. And that's how easy it is to send out email blasts for our buyers and investors.